point when he was at the family camp, he mentioned about the International Red Cross. Why was Germany so concerned about the International Red Cross at that time and their reception to what the Nazis were doing?
The question is, why was Nazi Germany so obsessed with the Red Cross at that time? Sean?
There were lots of reports of the International Red Cross talking about coming into some of the other camps, and especially at Terezin. And the Nazis had fabricated this environment in Theresienstadt to show the world, basically, that Jews were being treated well. Well, they were always worried that at their biggest camp, Auschwitz, that the International Red Cross was going to be coming there as well. So they fabricated this family camp inside Theresienstadt, and it's one of the things that drew me to the story, because you didn't have these horrible selections, that were happening on the ramps when these trains would arrive. And that's how his brother John is able to survive so long in the camp, because he was brought in the middle of December when they're wearing all these clothes, and they were immediately marched off into this family camp, where they could then show that grandmothers and children and stuff were living in these separate quarters, but that they could go and see one another. So they were, once they realized that the family camp no longer served their purpose, they decided to liquidate it.
Okay, thank you, Sean. A few people were involved in this film, are graduates from Millersville University. Sean is one of them. His wife, who also participated in the film, who's in the audience tonight, is also a Millersville undergraduate and a graduate student as well. Sean, could you tell me some of the other students, or some of the other students from Millersville who participated in the creation of this film?
Our key artist, Sarah Shelton, who couldn't be here this evening, she was a Millersville grad. James Hollenbach, who's sitting right down here in the front row, he was our cinematographer and was also a Millersville grad.
Thank you, Sean. Any other questions for Sean? Raise your hand, say yes, right in the back.
How did you find out about Frank and his story? There's been so much written about the Holocaust that it's difficult to find something that hasn't been told, a story that hasn't been told.
The question is, how did you find out about Frank Grunwald and his story? Sean?
I am a high school teacher, and before I got into teaching, I spent 15 years working in the movie business, on the exhibition side of the business. And as a part of my teaching, I was co-teaching a class on the Holocaust through film and lit, because the Holocaust was of interest to me, especially the film aspect of it. And I signed up for some teaching workshops with the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in DC. And this particular conference that I went to, where I met Frank, was their Arthur and Rochelle Belford Next Step Conference, which was a second-level regional conference that was in Indianapolis, Indiana. And Frank was the speaker the third day when we were there. And he was nothing more than a name on a piece of paper. By that time, I had seen probably 24 survivors speak. But when he walked in, the story that he told, his storytelling ability, and the fact that he's standing there telling the story about his family, and he just has hundreds of photographs. It was just completely out of the norm. And when he was done, it didn't take me but 5 minutes into his story to realize that there was a film here. And I asked him 2 questions. I said, where did you get all your photos, and do you want to make a documentary? And, I can still remember asking him that second question in my head. I'm going, please say this, please say this. And luckily for me, he said yes, and I was able to go back to my hotel room, and I called my fellow producer, Jennifer Goss, on the phone, and told her about this incredible story and how I wanted to bring this story back to the high school and incorporate as many different departments within the high school as I possibly could to bring a real-world experience into the classroom, something that the kids could not learn in the textbook.
Sean, is this your first film?
That's my second.
Second, pretty amazing.
First film that I ever directed. Second film that I produced.
Terrific. Are there any other questions in the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Is there a remarkable technique where you had some sort of painting or something, like almost a halo around the black and white photographs in the back, it looked like oil paint or something? Who was that done by? Was it done by Frank?
Are you saying the technique itself or the actual painting? I'm not sure exactly. I think that there's a digital effect, a photo effect that we use throughout the film, and it's actually, if it's what you're referring to, it's actually a trick that you that you can use when you don't have a large enough photograph to blow up, you know, in high definition, like you saw here. There's this technique where you actually blow the picture out and use it as a background, so it's like foggy around it, and then you have the clear image of the smaller picture in the middle, if that's what you're referring to.
It was almost like a oil painting, or I don't know, it was like an aerial photo, or you know, like sort of yellows and buff colored and
Tattoo painting.
yeah,
Tattoo numbers in the pictures and that.
Is that what you're talking about with the numbers, where you would either go through into the picture or you would come from the picture out?
The film from the beginning to the end is almost like, you know, the technique called vignette.
Okay.
And it was almost like it was cut out of paper, and paper was painted with oil painting or something. I couldn't really tell what it was.
There's a
Behind it was a black and white documentary photo.
There's a technique that the artist used. It was called gesso, and it was like a hard. I don't know exactly. I saw an art student doing this in the hallway, and when I saw it, the idea just immediately hit me. She was doing something with 9 pounds, and I needed 6 because his number in Auschwitz was 6 digits, and it's just how my brain functions. But when I was standing there and I saw her doing this, the idea just hit me, and it was Marguerite Melinda, and I walked up to her and I said, have you talked to Chizdak about the Holocaust Project? And she said, yeah, I'm looking for, or thinking about something to do. And then she and I kind of talked about this idea where we could put these black and white photos behind, you know, the gesso, so that, and then we took that to a digital artist, one of my former students that was in film school at the time. He was working in animation, and he was the one who did the 3D effects of going into the photo or from the photo coming out.
Sean, a few people prior to this have asked me, where can they get a copy of this DVD?
That's a great question. If you saw on the credits, the last thing that popped up on the credits was our website. There's 2 ways to get to our website. It's either FAHS, which is Fleetwood Area High School, FAHSDocProject.com, or you can just type in the title of the film, which is Misha's Fugue. It's MISASFUGUE. And if you go to the website, this whole entire project was funded 100% by private organizations and donations. It didn't cost our school district a penny to do this. And we set up this website where people can go, and if they make a $20 donation towards the film, what we'll do is we'll send them a DVD in the mail for free, and 100% of the proceeds that we collect from DVD donations go right back into the distribution so that we can take this film to high schools, to film festivals, and to just get it seen by as many people as possible. The end goal is to make copies of this film, DVDs, to get into the classrooms, as many high schools and as many colleges as humanly possible, just simply for the cost of the shipping and the handling. We've worked with the Pennsylvania Holocaust Education Council and created a 40-plus page study guide that goes along with this film, that's backed up by middle school, high school, and college professors, where they came up with enrichment activities, discussion questions, and extenuating activities. And we're actually, next month, going to be screening the film down at the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum for their education department, their curation department, and for some other departments in the high school, so that the museum can see or talk about getting behind the film and helping us push the film out nationally to public schools.
Thank you, Sean. One last question. Carol, I think you have one?
How long did you work with the students, and can you give us some indication of the impact it had upon the students?
How long did you work with the students, and what was the impact on those students?
That's a great question. The whole entire project, from start to finish, I met Frank in June of 2010. And we premiered this film in our local area in Fleetwood back in April. So the whole project from start to premiere was about 2 years. And the impact that it's had on the students, I couldn't even begin to put it into words. I have some students that started on this project as sophomores that didn't know what they wanted to do with their lives, and they're now in film school. The 2 animation sequences that you saw with the 3D through the barbed wire during the selection scene in front of Mengele and the, I call it the Where's My Mother scene, those 2 pieces. The girl who worked on that is now studying animation at Brigham Young University. So it's had definitely a lasting impact on I hopefully like to say, everybody that was involved.
And I'd like to say that's what art is all about, having a lasting impact. Please join us outside for the reception. We have wine, we have cheese, and be sure to check out Grimwald's sculpture, which you saw in the film. It's out in our lobby. It's a stunning and very heavy piece, so we hope that you'll come out and see it. And stop and say hello to Sean, his cinematographer, and his wife outside who were involved in the film, and thank them very much for creating this. Thank you.